Scary films are a popular genre with many people, but what makes them tolerable is that they're fiction, right? The horrendous atrocities and gory details of these films could not have possibly happened in real life. Or did they? Here are 10 horror films based on real events. Number 10 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Released in 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre told the story of a twisted group of killers terrorizing a bunch of teenagers, and what's worse is that it was based on a true event. To be more specific, it was actually based on 2 events. The first is well documented. In 1957, Ed Gein, a loner who lived on a Wisconsin farm, brutally murdered a woman called Bernice Warden. He also dug up corpses from a nearby graveyard. When the police arrived at his farm, they discovered that he had made a suit from his victim's skin, which he would actually wear. This grisly discovery became the basis for Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Another influence on the film was the legend of Sawney Bean, a man who led a Scottish clan sometime between the 13th and 16th centuries. They reportedly ate over 1,000 people, and if you thought these stories were disturbing, we've just begun. Number 9 is The Entity. The Entity was originally released as a novel back in 1978 and then made into a film 4 years later. It tells the story of a woman who is terrorized by a malevolent spirit in her own home. The film is based on a true event known as the Doris Bither case. This was an alleged haunting in California in the early 1970s, where Doris Bither claimed that she was attacked in her bed each night by 3 supernatural entities. The case was investigated by Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor, who both photographed orbs and documented other strange phenomena. However, the most terrifying of these was when Doris attempted to summon the entity by swearing and shouting into thin air. Reportedly, a green mist formed in the corner of the room, and the outline of a man could be seen within it. Take this as a lesson: the paranormal are not something you want to provoke. Number 8 is Open Water. The 2003 film Open Water explored a horrific situation, being stranded in the sea surrounded by man-eating sharks. While being a low-budget film, Open Water did well at the box office and enticed audiences with its based on real events claim. Those events surrounded the disappearance of Thomas and Eileen Lonergan in 1998. While diving in the Australian Great Barrier Reef, they were separated from their diving group, which left the area without them, and no one noticed they had disappeared until 2 days later. Their bodies were never recovered, and only some diving equipment and a diving slate were ever found. The slate, which is used to write messages between divers underwater, gave their location at the time, and had a scrawled message pleading for help. It's not known exactly what happened to the couple, but it's a good guess that they either drowned or were eaten by sharks. Number 7 is It. Stephen King's It is such a popular horror story that it's been adapted into a film twice. But while the story of Pennywise the Clown terrorizing the children of a small town continues to captivate audiences around the world, they may be surprised to learn that this supernatural tale may have been inspired by a real event. Some argue that Stephen King was influenced by the serial killer John Wayne Gacy. Arrested in 1978, Gacy murdered at least 33 teenage boys and young men over a 6-year period and was referred to by many as the Killer Clown. This is because Gacy often attended children's parties dressed as Pogo the Clown. This horrific tale reminds us that sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction. Number 6 is Wolf Creek. The 2005 Australian horror film Wolf Creek was marketed as being based on real events. Though the filmmakers were never actually able to say what those events were for legal reasons, many have speculated that Wolf Creek was based on the crimes of 2 horrific murders. In the film, 3 backpackers are traveling across the Australian outback and encounter a twisted killer. This is very similar to the accounts of Ivan Milat's murders during the 1990s. He would kidnap foreign backpackers backpackers and bury the remains in a nearby large forest. Another true-life case cited as an influence on Wolf Creek is that of Bradley Murdoch, who murdered an English backpacker named Peter Falconio. They encountered each near a place called Barrow Creek, but Falconio's girlfriend was able to escape into the wilderness. Peter's body has never been found. Number 5 is Ravenous. The Western horror film Ravenous was released in 1999 and is said to have been based on the macabre confessions of Alfred Packer. In the film, a lieutenant in the United States Army is sent to rescue a group of people trapped in the mountains of the Sierra Nevada. When he finds what's left of the group, it turns out that they had resorted to cannibalism. While this is happening, those nearby are warned about the curse of the Wendigo, that those who eat human flesh will crave it forever, and that one of the survivors of the group may have already consumed human flesh. In reality, Alfred Packer, during April of 1874, traveled with 5 prospectors looking for gold in Utah. Only Packer ever returned, and it was soon discovered that he'd eaten the other men. Number 4 is Fire in the Sky. 1993's Fire in the Sky depicts the alleged events surrounding one of the most infamous alien abduction cases of all time. The film follows a group of loggers who encounter a UFO in the White Mountains of Arizona. The UFO abducts one of the men, and we see his terrifying experiences play out. In the alleged true story, a logger by the name of Travis Walton was abducted by aliens on November 5th, 1975. He claimed that he was taken from his truck when a beam of light knocked him unconscious. He then woke to find himself in a hospital-like room with 3 alien creatures, aided by several humans, performing experiments on him. Travis then found himself 5 days later walking along a highway as the UFO flew off into the distance. He was described by his family as disturbed and never the same again. Number 3 is Annabelle. The 2014 film Annabelle is a prequel to James Wan's The Conjuring series, but this story of a haunted children's doll was reportedly based on a real event. Famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren were called in to investigate a bizarre case of doll possession. A student nurse had contacted the couple, claiming that her Raggedy Ann doll was moving around on its own and speaking to the nurse and her roommate. Lorraine Warren, who claimed to be psychic, told the nurse that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a dead girl named Annabelle Higgins. In order to protect others from its evil reach, the Warrens took Annabelle and placed her in their museum of occult and demonic artifacts. Annabelle has now appeared in 3 movies and has terrified millions of people alongside those who have experienced the real doll. Number 2 is The Strangers. Released in 2008, The Strangers follows the story of a young couple who are hounded by a group of masked killers for seemingly no reason. However, the film was actually based on 2 real-life events. The most famous of these were the Manson family murders. These took place in 1969. At the behest of their cult leader Charles Manson, his followers broke into a house in Beverly Hills and killed those inside. This included director Roman Polanski's pregnant wife Sharon Tate. As Manson had instructed, they were to totally destroy everyone in it, as gruesome as they possibly could. And they certainly did that, and their horrific crime influenced a number of films, including The Strangers. The director was also influenced by a chilling moment when he was a child, when a group of burglars came to the door of his home while his parents were away. And number 1 is The Exorcist. Directed by William Friedkin, The Exorcist is often voted the greatest horror film of all time. It's also based on a real-life exorcism. In the film, a 12-year-old girl named Reagan is possessed by a demon, perhaps even the devil himself. An exorcism is then performed with terrifying consequences. The event, which allegedly inspired the film and the book before it, was the exorcism of a boy called Roland Doe in 1949. His name was changed to protect his identity, but those involved claimed that the demonic forces moved objects around Roland while he spoke in languages unfamiliar to him and in a demonic voice. While some things in The Exorcist were exaggerated, the core elements of Roland's story are real, which makes this film extra chilling. So, those were 10 horror films based on real events. And if you enjoyed this, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell beside the subscribe button to enable notifications so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you for watching. Sweet dreams.